polygraph examiner.
Okay.
So you lying, man, I can tell.
Okay, all right.
This is docket number H 2008-366-0039. In re claimant appellant Howard E. Martin, 2181 West North Bend Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45224. The employer appellee is Scripps Howard, 312 Walnut Street, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45202.
Marlene Stein, Stein. I'm the Human Resources Manager at WCPO TV, 1720 Gilbert Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45202.
The Walnut Street address, is that a corporate? Or just,
yes, it is.
Okay. And WCPO TV channel what?
It's 9.
Okay.
WCPO TV channel 9. That Howard was insubordinate because he got in his face and didn't back up when the manager asked him to back up. And Mike told him that his behavior was a fireable action of trying to intimidate the manager by getting in his face. And Howard challenged him to fire him. And then that was earlier in the conversation, but earlier in the day when they had an exchange about trying to find out why there was the live shot failure. But then Howard again, in front of me, stepped into the face within like 2 or 3 inches of the manager's face and challenged him to fire him. And I witnessed it.
And what did Mr. Pretot say at that point?
Well, he told him that he needed to get his stuff and leave. And because Howard said, go ahead, he challenged him to fire him. And he said, okay. Because that was the second time in one day that had happened. And, and Mike had told him that he wasn't, I don't want to say put up, but he said he wasn't going to tolerate Howard's intimidation attempts. And I witnessed it. I was standing right there. And, okay.
Insubordination, is that grounds for discharge?
Yes.
And is that part of work rules?
Yes.
And do all your employees get a copy of the work rules?
Yes.
The union contract, does that incorporate the work rules into the contract? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we have an employee handbook, and it talks about a respectful work environment, and it is just certain. Well, it has to be a respectful work environment.
Okay.
And that was not, especially with a manager, but even with another employee, that's unacceptable behavior.
Anything else you'd like to tell me today?
There has been a history of intimidation actions by Mr. Martin with other employees.
He wasn't discharged for anything that happened prior to this last incident, though, correct?
No, he was not.
Okay.
It was specifically for his actions with his supervisor.
Okay.
And he had been forewarned in other letters that continued, and it was specifically for work environment behavior. And as far as his actual performance for his actual job duties, he was a very good employee. It was, you didn't always know what. There are employees who were reluctant to talk to him because you didn't know how he was going to treat you or respond. But when he, twice in one day, put his, stepped within inches from his supervisor and dared him to fire him, we just can't. It's an uncomfortable work environment, and we just can't expect our employees to tolerate this. Howard, if you would remember, Mike and I, at one point in that conversation in the hallway, you remember we asked you if you wanted to move to a private office, and you said no, that anything that needed to be said there. And then at one point you got very upset and you just left. And you walked out toward the smoking area, that exit door. And
okay. I'm going to stop you there because I don't think you're really answering the question.
This is the truth. I'm not just saying 'cause I'm really on your side. Call Lincoln Ware and tell that she lied.